Look, mate. Look, I've told you. Like, you've been on this losing streak. I'm the one that can help you. You're getting this close. You are getting this close, and I am the one that can do this for you. You've got to understand. I'm going to leave this offer on the table for you. One more chance. If you lose this weekend at Eruption, you know my number. You know where I am. Anytime, any place. Give me a call, and I'll put you to the top. I am the manager of champions. You've seen what I've done for other people. You've seen what I've done for myself. You know where I am. Come on. Call me, all right? This offer stands. Oh God, he's in. He's in.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first ever edition of All Action Wrestling on the Internet. We have a huge main event tonight. It's Trance from Melbourne taking on Joey Angel. I am, of course, the Shard. Alongside me tonight, we will get along for one night only, my co-commentator for this evening, James Grace. James, welcome to this huge episode of All Action Wrestling.
Thank you very much. I'm very excited to be here. Well, maybe not specifically here, sat next to you, but I'm very excited to be a part of this debut episode of AAW on YouTube. And Shark, what a match we've got to kick things off. We've got the original Gangster going one-on-one with a guy that I know you know very well, Chris Target. I mean, this is going to be fantastic.
It's going to be a huge contest, absolutely. Well, I just want to thank Orlando Jordan, the owner of All Action Wrestling, and of course Wildcat Sports Entertainment, for making this all possible. And what a huge show to kick off with. You're right, KIllah versus Chris Target. And the background of these guys alone is phenomenal. These guys were the tag team champions for 1 whole year as Australia's most wanted.
That's right, it's never been done before. The longest reigning AAW tag team champions in history. But you know what? Both men went their separate ways. KIllah seems to be going back to his roots to when he first started out in AAW, an AAW original. And Chris Target, well, I mean, you know his story very well. He's become a member of the foundation, and you're about to see him walk through that curtain with one of the newest additions to the AAW roster and the brand new AAW Women's Champion. I'm talking about none other than Pandora. I'll leave it to you to tell us a little bit about them.
Well, absolutely, but first, making his way to the ring right now is Chris Target, and you're right. There's a new bit of gold around the waist of Pandora, as you can see right there. And, well, I will be talking a little bit more in detail later on about how she became a women's champion. But, geez, I mean, she is very gifted, but so is Chris Target. This is a guy that was so young when he first broke in. And, you know, KIllah, he led him in the right way, but since he's joined the foundation, Chris Target has been in a huge role. I mean, he's been unstoppable. He's just so much more confident in that ring. He is a force to be reckoned with.
Well, look, both of these guys do certainly have a lot to prove. Look, I just want to take a little step back. Before the show opened, there was a shot of Mr. Kazani. He was on the phone to somebody talking about some sort of losing streak or had some sort of deal to cut with somebody. I'm not exactly sure who that was. Did you have any insight?
Look, it's really hard to say. You know, Mr. Pisani is a guy that no one really knew much about. You know, he made his way into the company and nobody knew what he was there for. He had his clipboard. He seemed to be taking notes on everybody. And he saw JC Blade. He saw that there was potential in JC Blade. JC Blade on a horrible losing streak. Mr. Pisani's steered him into the right direction, so it's been a very positive influence on JC's career. Who does he talk about? I don't know. He could be talking about someone in this very match right now.
Well, surely you're hoping it's not your boy Chris Target, a part of the foundation, but it certainly could be the original Gangster KIllah. He's not been on the best of winning streaks as of late, and he's certainly made it clear to AEW management that he's not happy with the way things have been going. But this is the perfect opportunity for both of these guys to really make a statement, and both with eyes on the goal. I mean, what do you see in the future for either of these men?
Oh, look, I definitely think Chris Target is on the right path to becoming a future Australian champion. But in saying that, so is KIllah. You know, KIllah's had a huge run as a tag team champion. He's been in the title hunt for a little while, but he's never really been a strong contender. But now, if he puts up a fight against the future Chris Target, he's definitely going to be taken notice by All Action Wrestling men.
Both men are so technically strong. KIllah there in a beautiful hammerlock. I mean, obviously Chris Target, he started off another headlock there. We're going to see a lot of technical wrestling between those two. This is something that the Foundation certainly do credit. I know from personal experience, you trained me and brought me in. Look, technical, big slam there. Being a technically gifted athlete is something that you have to be part of the AAW roster. Tell us a little bit about the training of Chris Target.
Well, again, Chris Target's had some of the best of both worlds. Again, huge hip toss there by KIllah. As we see Chris Target just get some air back and maybe refocus on his game plan. But in terms of his training, I mean, he was on the road with KIllah for 1 year. The tag team champion. He became a tag team specialist almost. But the Shark is a very special training facility that he's been training people with. Obviously, Pandora, the latest product of that.
Look at the arrogance, turning his back on the crowd. See, that's the part that I don't like about this guy. He's got a really bright future and a huge upside, but why bail out to the ring and take him back up?
Because he can back it up. You see, just like that, KIllah turns his back for 1 second, and Chris Target takes advantage of that. That's why you cannot take your eyes off Chris Target. Not only is he technically gifted, he has an amazing mind for this business. And just there's a classic example. You turn your back, you got to pay the price.
It's a beautiful snapmare there. You'd assume that KIllah growing up on the streets of Rockingham would, have better wherewithal than that. Oh! Goodness, a huge snap. You can see the torque on his neck. KIllah should know to watch his back. Growing up in the streets. Oh, and a 2 count there, a beautiful near fall. But KIllah needs to, like I say, needs to know better than that. These two men know each other very, very well. I mean, look, who do you see? I'm sure you've got your bias here, but who do you see coming out on top?
Well, look, obviously Chris Target does have Pandora ringside. That could come into play later on tonight. You never know, she is a huge asset down at ringside. But even without Pandora, Chris Target is just so gifted at what he does. I mean, everything he does is calculated. That punch right there, calculated. What he does next, calculated. And honestly, I am biased, but I'm still, even if I wasn't, I'm going to say Chris Target.
Okay, well look, we've got one of the biggest events of the year coming up for AAW. Big clothesline there by KIllah. I'm talking, of course, about Super Clash. His second, perhaps only to anniversary on the AAW calendar. It's coming up November 24th. I mean, these two are going to be looking to big suplex there, to be picking up a bit of momentum heading into that massive event.
Yeah, that's it. That's right. Super Clash, November 24th at the Warnborough Aqua Jetty. Tickets are on sale right now from the Shaver Shop in Rockingham, or of course online at allactionwrestling.com.au. But folks, I mean, this is just a small example of what's going to be happening at Super Clash. The fans are in for a treat. You see here now Chris Target just taking KIllah into the corner, just wearing him down, and hopefully trying to get that snapmare driver that Chris Target's made famous in life.
That's a slap that he's got in the face. There's no need to be slapping people in the face. Take him to the mat and get him pinned. That's what the sport is all about at the end of the day. And he's going to get his comeuppance here because KIllah's firing back.
They're on the way back with Pandora's seeing that Tug's in trouble. And she's on the back and Joel Spencer, referee Joel Spencer, looked like he's rung the bell. And I guess
is on her mind. She's put herself in harm's way here.
Oh, and a low blow from Chris Target. You know what? I don't think this match means much to Chris Target. He just wants to. He put a hurting on KIllah right now.
What a ridiculous way to end the very first match here on AAW TV. Why does Chris Target have to suck?
Well, hang on. Orlando Jordan's making. Let's be quiet for a second and see what Orlando has to say.
This is the first match of the night, and it's not going to end like this. So we're going to restart this match. And this match will be a 2-on-1. Target and Pandora versus the KIllah. Ring the bell.
A handicap match, folks. We'll be right back after this short break.
Want to keep up with the latest and what's happening in the world of All Action Wrestling? Well, make sure you check out the YouTube page at youtube.com/AAWPerth. Check out exclusive content such as Joey Angel vs. The World, the Casey Hansen Chronicles, and behind-the-scenes action of All Action Wrestling. Meanwhile, check out all our other social media content as well via Twitter and on Facebook, and join in the revolution.
Ladies and gentlemen, during the break, this is what you missed. Pandora with a huge slap on the original gangster KIllah, and she was right in harm's way, and she got out of the ring quick, smart. We're right back to live action here, and you heard Orlando Jordan, the owner, he wasn't going to have the first match end in a DQ. Look at KIllah pounding away, he's going to get himself disqualified. What we have right here, Shark, is a 2-on-1 handicap match. Look, I actually think Orlando Jordan's done the right thing here, but 2-on-1. Pandora is the AAW Women's Champion, and the numbers game is inevitably going to be coming to a big effect here.
You know what, Orlando Jordan, he doesn't want the very first episode of All Action Wrestling to end in a disqualification. He's made the right choice here, making it a 2-on-1 handicap match. There will be a winner for this opening contest.
I've never seen KIllah pull out that heel kick before, that was impressive.
You know, you can tell he's getting desperate. You know, Target, he knows now that it's not just Target he's going to worry about. He's going to worry about Pandora. Any opportunity she can get in that ring and really throw a monkey wrench into KIllah's plan. And you know what, Chris Target, like I said earlier, he's doing enough damage by himself. Now with Pandora ringside, KIllah is really going to bring that street smart that he has into this game.
Beautiful knee lift. I mean, look, KIllah was not prepared for this. I'm sure Target and Pandora has some sort of plan out the back. And I wouldn't be surprised if you were in on it either, but KIllah, not prepared to go 2-on-1. He was expecting 1-on-1 with Chris Target. Mayhem already in the very first opening minutes of AAW on YouTube. But it looks like we're going to see Pandora in action for the very first time here. Is he going to tag her in?
There it is, there's the tag. And here we go, the All Action Wrestling Women's Champion. Oh, some stiff forearms. Right into the corner. I mean, you know, done correctly, that could dislocate a jaw. And oh, we saw that last one just there. I think KIllah's jaw may have been very well dislocated just there.
She's going to add insult to injury here.
She's not even set up for a movie she knows that's famous as the Anaconda Vice. But no, we see Chris Target there just hanging out the outside, and I think Pandora wants back in because we see KIllah out of nowhere. He must have just jumped out of the ring to attack Chris Target. I don't think anyone was really prepared for that. Chris Target, luckily though, back on the offense there.
Look, this what this match is broken down to now. If Target and Pandora want to play it back game, KIllah is from the streets of Rockingham. He certainly knows how to break it down into a street fight. And as I said, he knows how to adapt and to survive.
He sure does, but you know, the streets is very similar to what's happening right now on the outside. You're away from the wrestling ring, you are in the streets, you're a hard concrete floor there, a hard wooden floor I should say, and KIllah going for his patented high-five fan shop, as I like to call it.
Both men almost counted out there. KIllah, again, got to keep a wherewithal. Senior referee Joel Spencer does not want to count both of these men out. He wants to get a clean finish here between these three competitors. Just tying it back in the ring.
No, that's the thing about KIllah. He's a very unique individual. Obviously, you know, you never know what mood KIllah's going to be in. He's the original gangster. Some people support his ways, others don't. That young fan at ringside. Oh! There's the huge famouser from Crystal. That could do it! Referee Joel Spencer, 1-2, no! KIllah just kicking out there.
Chris Target can't believe it. Look at the look on his face. He cannot believe that he didn't have a victory there.
You wore him down on the outside first of all. He takes him in a huge maneuver like that. And that's what a lot of guys away in the past. You can clearly see he's not too happy there, and he's having words with referee Joel Spencer.
Straight to the throat. Look, the momentum clearly with Chris Target and Pandora at the moment. It's going to take something really special for KIllah to pick up the win here.
Absolutely. And no sign of Mr. Designer yet. Haven't seen him walking down ringside or anything yet, Mr. James Grace?
This is true. I don't know what's going to happen there. I'm sure we're just going to have to wait and see what Mr. Pisani had in store and who exactly he was talking about. And of course, we've got that huge main event coming up as well that you mentioned.
We absolutely do. Chris Trance and Joey enter the main, but looks like Chris Target might be going for that snapmare driver that is being finished. If he hits this on KIllah, it's all over.
Oh! There goes Pandora. Pandora's on the floor.
Well, that is not good at all. Chris, you gotta make sure. Wait, turn around, Chris. Oh no, it's a spear. Yeah. KIllah's hit the spear. That's KIllah's, signature move. That could do it.
2, 3, and KIllah's picked up the win in the very first match of the opening episode right here on AAW TV. A huge win for KIllah, and oh my goodness, this has got to throw a wrench in the plans of the foundation. Chris Target and the new women's champion Pandora have lost to the original gangster KIllah. Let's take a look at this instant replay. The impact was absolutely unbelievable. Look at this. Oh,
you can see in slow motion, Jet, just the force that he throws it with. The Pandora's getting in Killah's face now, but I don't think he knows that Chris Tiger's there. And that right there is that snapman drive that I've been talking about. It's one of the deadliest moves in wrestling today. I mean, that could snap a neck at any instance.
This is just ridiculous. I mean, an attack during the match, an attack after the match. This is just how the Foundation operates, and I'm getting pretty sick to death of it. You know, Killah needs to find a way to get back to his feet because else things are just going to go from bad to worse.
Well, hang on, Chris Tiger calling for a microphone. It must be obvious that he has something to say about the original Gangster Killah.
Well, look what we got here. You think you got the better of me? No. See, the 24th of November, Super Clash. I'm putting an end to this little thing you got going around here. I'm going to prove, listen, I'm going to prove I was Australia's most wanted. I'm going to prove all of it. I'm going to get in your match, your specialty. Killah, 6.68, drink quiet. Job done.
What's up, fans? This is the Shark, the co-leader of the Foundation. I'm proud to introduce the very first Super Clash flashback. We're going to go all the way back to 2010 when it was Team Shark versus Team Orlando Jordan, and what an epic event it was. Just like Super Clash this year will be November 24th. You see, it's going to be the Shark making history once again, becoming the All Action Wrestling World Heavyweight Champion. And it sort of comes in full circle because Orlando Jordan made his debut at Super Clash 2010, but here, 2 years later, Orlando Jordan's making his return to the ring after a year-long injury. And it's all happening Super Clash November 24th. Buy your tickets now at the Shaver Shop at Rockingham or online at allactionwrestling.com.au. But for now, check out the highlights from Super Clash 2010.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to AAW on YouTube. We were taking a look back at some of the most memorable moments in AAW history. Right there, we just looked at the Super Clash flashback from 2010. And Shaq, you introduced it. You know, that was, like I say, it was one of the most memorable moments for me, but for you also. What a huge moment it was to have Orlando Jordan and a legend, Marty Jannetty, there.
Oh, it was a huge event, and that's what Super Clash really is. You talked about this earlier. But next to Anniversary, Super Clash is one of the biggest events in All Action Wrestling history. Every year seems to upstage itself. I mean, I remember the very first Super Clash that we had. It was the first time we had a steel cage match with 6 competitors. That was absolutely huge. And the year after that, we had Marty Jannetty and Orlando Jordan come down. And then the year after that, we had Raven come down. So, I mean, it's a very synonymous event, you know, in All Action Wrestling. But really, some background history on that was the start of the Foundation. And you see Josh Page in the ring right now, the guy representing the Foundation. It was at that very Super Clash afterwards, the Shark and Orlando Jordan, we put our heads together we came up with this elite supergroup which you see dominant in All Action Wrestling today.
Well, again, we're looking at two former AAW Tag Team Champions squaring off on this second match of this debut program. Look, obviously, Super Clash only 3 weeks away. It's going to be November 24th, and you do not want to miss out on this huge event. We've talked about how steeped in history it is. Well, it's going to be no different November 24th, so make sure that you get your tickets. They're available online at www.allactionwrestling.com.au, or you can also go down to the Shaver Shop in Rockingham, which is Western Australia for those international viewers. But you certainly can buy them online. It is well worth a trip wherever you are from, because we are going to make more memories November 24th right there at Super Clash.
Now, let's just talk about this match here for a minute, because Corvus is falling for some very rookie mistakes. I mean, he's trying to play the power game with Josh Page. You know what? That's just not going to happen. We saw already he's going for the test of strength. He failed at that. Now he's starting to wake up a little bit. He's getting shoved there by Josh Page, but now he's really starting to fire up, show some of that high risk, high miss maneuvers that he's known for.
It was a near fall right there. Like you said, Josh Page certainly the bigger and the stronger of the two, but Corvus seems to have the speed and athleticism over Josh Page. You know what? This is going to be an interesting matchup. I don't believe... Big Hurricane Rana there. I don't believe we've ever seen these two go one-on-one. No. It's not going to end that easily. We're certainly going to have a competitive match here. As I said, both former tag team champions. But again, we've got a foundation member that, well, I mean, it's going to be a big night to see how you guys go in the debut episode.
Absolutely,
But of course, with moves like that, you're guaranteed the wins. I mean, why does it always have to be, seems somehow to be a low blow or a numbers game where you guys have to gain the advantage?
Well, I mean,
this is where it gets really dangerous.
We're off to a bad start. KIllah and Pandora, Chris Tiger and Pandora, not so successful opening. So now we have to rely on Josh Page to pick up that victory for us. But just on that, we know a lot about Josh Page. Obviously, a very talented individual, great athlete, and a part of the foundation. But what are your thoughts about Corvus? Because I've sort of got mixed feelings about it. It depends what mood he is, in my opinion. Sometimes Corvus is great. Other times, I think he's a bit bipolar. He's very angry sometimes. He's a very angry individual. Other times, he's happy to be out there, and happy to be in the fans. What are your thoughts on Corvus, just in general?
Well, look, I actually made my AAW debut against Corvus, and we both debuted on the same night. And you know what? It was a tough match, and since then we haven't really always seen eye to eye. We certainly live different lifestyles, and I suppose I have to agree with you. Corvus can be a bit flaky. You never know what sort of mood he's going to be in. Well, I know right now he's going to be in a bad mood because that was a huge vertical suplex. And, well, there you go. There's the arrogance showing off for the camera, Mr. Josh Page. A massive stalling vertical suplex there. Look, I really don't know what's happening with Corvus. He's a former Australian champion also, although that title reign was short-lived. He certainly has a huge future here, but he needs to find his groove. He certainly has his fan base, but if he wants to make it big, he needs to be able to prove that he can knock off competitors like Josh Page. So every match, really every match here in AEW has big, big consequences.
Absolutely. We saw earlier just the difference in style. Corvus relies so heavily on that high-risk maneuvers, which is great because if he can hit it, I mean, he can pick up victories. Like that Hurricane Rana he delivered earlier in the night to Josh Page there is absolutely devastating. But if he gets caught with a huge suplex like Josh Page delivered before, I mean, that's going to do some damage, especially considering the size difference. Corvus is, probably about, 70 kilos out there compared to Josh Page, close to 100. That's 30 kilos difference of weight getting slammed on top of you. But again,
that might be it right here. 1, 2... Sorry to cut you off, but that's the thing. This guy can come out of nowhere. He's quicker than a hiccup, and he certainly can score the victory with moves like that. He also has that devastating Phoenix Splash, a move that has actually put people, well, we thought has ended careers. Obviously, he had that huge feud with his brother JC Blade, and that Phoenix Splash certainly was the focal point. We thought that was the end of JC.
Wait, you saw that Phoenix Splash. Is he going for it now? He's going up top, but Josh Page luckily cuts him off there before some damage could be done. But
well, luckily for Josh Page.
You don't want to be on that top rope, I'm telling you. That's a very dangerous place to be, and it looks like he's setting up for some sort of superplex, and if he hits this, it could be all over.
Oh my goodness!
An absolutely huge superplex by Josh Page, and just look at the look on Corvus's face. You can tell he's in pain, and that might just as well do it. Referee Joel Spencer down. 1, 2, no!
Goodness, I thought you were going to have to scrape him off the canvas out of that. That was just insane, the impact and the noise that it made. You know, some people might not appreciate just how hard it is when you hit that mat, and that's just from any height. When you factor in that you've gone from that top rope and a suplex from the size of Josh Page, looks just a straight fist. Joel Spencer needs to get in there and check that Corvus can continue. That's got to be it.
He's just running off adrenaline now, surely. You know, Corvus, he has so much heart, but sometimes he's just got to realize when he's been defeated and he's just got to let it go. But maybe that's what makes Corvus different. He has that I won't quit attitude. And I mean, he should be done after that superplex, but he's still fighting. He's still fighting. You've got to respect that.
Well, look, this is where the arrogance of Josh Page and the other members of the Foundation certainly comes into play. You know, I'll give you... Wait a second! Oh, I thought he was going for the Trouble in Paradise there, but it was a huge drop kick. Can he come back?
It's another one. Maybe he's setting up for it. Maybe that's what's next. If he hits it, it could be all over. That's a huge spin kick. What's he going to do? Is he going to try and make that cover, or he's going to risk it?
No,
he's going to risk it.
This is the trouble. This is the Phoenix Splash that we were just talking about. If he hits this, this is over.
Oh, Page just able to get out the way. He turns around, big boot there, and oh, there's the finish. That could be it. That's what Josh Page uses. He's been putting a lot of guys where that as of late. That's his new move that he's been doing. 1, 2, 3, and he's done it once again. Josh Page picking up a huge victory for the Foundation on this debut episode of All Action Wrestling on YouTube.
Well, you know what? I just feel so bad for Corvus. He almost had it there. He was going for the Phoenix Splash, and he does just look devastated. Obviously, the size difference ended up being the difference in this match. Page has just overpowered him. Look, Corvus obviously devastated.
I mean, let's just look at the face, of course. I'm sure the camera guy will get a show of him in a second. I mean, he does not look too pleased with himself. He's almost in shock, and looks like he's contemplating something. But folks, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back after this short commercial. Welcome back, folks. It's now time for our main event, Chris Trance versus Joey Angel, right here on All Action Wrestling on YouTube. And we just saw the video before of Chris Trance. This guy is in from Melbourne. He's representing Wildcat Sports Entertainment and All Action Wrestling Melbourne. How do you think he's going to go tonight? I've not seen much about him. I've seen, you know, a couple matches of his from Melbourne. Obviously a very dominant, very technical individual. He's been training at the Wildcat Sports Orlando Jordan School of Wrestling down in Melbourne, so he's going to be bringing a lot of new athleticism and moves into this match tonight.
You're absolutely right. He does have a lot of experience over there in Melbourne, and you know, being one of those first students to come through Orlando Jordan's Wildcat School of Professional Wrestling in Melbourne, the first and only of its kind here in Australia. That is the only place south of the equator that you can be trained by a former WWE superstar and truly get the talent and the knowledge that you need to go on and make it huge in this business. You know, some of Orlando Jordan's former students already on WWE programming such as NXT and TNA as well. But Chris Trance certainly could be going on that track, but his opponent tonight is not going to make it easy to score a win in this debut match, because it is none other than the Real Rockstar, Joey Angel.
That's right, and he has that name for a reason, because that's what he does. That's the lifestyle he leads. He is one of the last real rock stars in existence. He likes to go out there, he likes to party, he likes to have a good time, but sometimes, well, that can cost you, because Chris Trance has been very dedicated. Like I said, he's been training at Atlanta Jordan School of Professional Wrestling, he's been honing his craft, while Joey Angel's out there trying to have a good time. But in saying that, Joey Angel has lived this lifestyle the past 10 years, and he did manage to capture at one time the All Action Wrestling World Heavyweight Championship. So it's going to be a huge match and a huge main event for tonight's debut edition of All Action Wrestling on YouTube.
Well, that's right, but I don't want you to play it down either. You know, when Joey Angel won that AAW World Heavyweight Championship, it was no fluke. Yes, he cashed in the Money in the Bank contract, but it was on none other than the hardcore icon Raven. So it was no slouch when he won the World Championship. So he's certainly got the credentials, and he, like you said, he is a former World Champion. It's going to be really interesting to see how this pans out. As we said, this is the debut match of Chris Trance. Oh, Joey Angel in the crowd there. It's a bit unusual. You can never get pretty close to the action here at any AAW live event.
Well, Joey Angel's one of those guys. He needs, you know, the attention of the fans. And obviously, there's one fan there that's a huge fan of the Shark, and you know, didn't particularly like Joey Angel, and Joey's going to try and pan it to him. That's what Joey Angel does.
Well, that's one person's opinion, I suppose. The one person being you. Look, I got a lot of faith in Joey Angel, but I am really interested to see how this match pans out. Even in terms of size, there is a difference in experience and sort of credentials, but in terms of size, these guys evenly matched. And you know what? Here in AAW, Joey certainly is the fan favorite, so I wonder if home crowd advantage will be a factor in this match as well.
I think it will. You know, I mean, you sort of underestimate how important that atmosphere can be sometimes. You know, if you got the crowd behind you 100% of the match, I mean, that really gives you that extra kick of adrenaline sometimes when you're down and you need it. So it would be a huge hometown advantage. Obviously, Chris Trance not very well liked, whether it's just because he's Chris Trance or because he's representing Melbourne. But either way, he's a very dominant athlete, and he's going to be proving that tonight in this huge main event.
Well, as the two lock up, I just want to talk about what a success this very first episode of AAW on YouTube has been. And you know what? Next week, I'm getting word that the main event is going to be even bigger. We're going to see the new Australian champion, NC Viper. We're going to see a former world heavyweight champion in the Australian sensation, Craven. Oh, huge kick to the back there. We're also going to hear from you. I believe you have something to say next week. And all your other favourite AAW superstars. So it's going to be another huge week as we continue on YouTube next week. So make sure you share the link around, because this is the first time that this has ever been done in Australia, guys. So it is a huge, huge deal. And you know what? Like you said, it's going to go international as well as interstate. And Chris Trance, I'm sure he's got his Melbourne fans watching this debut episode and perhaps rooting for him.
Well, wait a minute. Chris Trance got caught off guard for a second there, and Joey Angel hits a huge suicide dive on Chris Trance. And that is always a very popular maneuver within the fans of All Action Wrestling.
Firing up the crowd.
Joey Angel, that huge dive on the outside, and now it looks like they're going to take the fight to the outside. And this is why this is the main event for the program tonight. We're seeing all sorts of stuff. We saw some amazing in-ring work there before by both competitors. Now Joey Angel, that huge suicide dive, and if I'm seeing correctly, he's aiming for that stairs, but no! Turned against him. Chris Trance able to reverse just in time, and Joey Angel getting a taste of his own medicine out there on the floor.
Well, you know, I was just about to say how much chops hurt, but then he got thrown into a set of steel steps, and that obviously is no comparison. Joey Angel has got to be almost down and out here. Chris Trance is going to take this opportunity, and he's going to put a hurting on the Real Rockstar.
What do you think this will do for the career of Chris Trance? If he can pick up a win tonight against Joey Angel on the debut episode of All Action Wrestling on YouTube, I mean, that's surely going to put him in a very big light in All Action Wrestling Management.
Well, absolutely. Obviously, he's already turned a few heads coming out to the Wildcat School. That's why he's here in Perth. He almost had it there. That's why he's here in Perth tonight. But you know what? A win over...
He's telling you to shush. He's telling you to shush. Oh, and that's why. Just so you can hear the impact. And watch this, a huge... Oh, lariat. A sliding lariat. Will that do it? That's put a few people away before. No, Joey Angel managed to kick out. Sorry to interrupt you there, Grace, but you know, a competitor tells you to shush. We're going to be quiet here at the commentary booth.
Is that right? Well, he was on the verge of gaining a huge victory over a former world champion, and if he does end up getting the victory here, well, he may even be in a title picture. We really don't know how this territory system is going to develop here in AAW. We're seeing Melbourne and Adelaide starting to emerge, and this really is the first competitor, as Joey fights back here. He's taking him for an Irish whip. This really is the first competitor in Trance that's coming from interstate in the Wildcat era.
The other thing too, you got to watch Chris Trance, because he has this maneuver called the transplant, and basically what it is, you're keeping up there. He turns a suplex into a devastating Falcon Arrow slam almost. So keep an eye out for that if he goes for it, because if he hits that, I guarantee it's all over. But in saying that, Joey Angel has got his own version of the diving cutter, if you will. I'm not too sure what he calls it. Mr. James Grace, maybe you have an idea, but it's very similar to what you see Randy Orton do and what Diamond Dallas Page does. It's a huge neck cutter, and well, if he hits that on you, well, you can guarantee it's all over.
These chops are just keep coming. Both of these two certainly set on inflicting some damage. Oh, and a nice head scissors there. Taking a page out of the old James Grace book, I see.
There you go. You got to do whatever works. Joey Angel, a lot of trouble right now.
Oh, big back body drop.
That's why I talked about Joey Angel in trouble. He's going to try everything, and that's probably why he did that maneuver in the corner, because it seems that Chris Trance is just dominating at the moment.
That's right. Well, again, we've got Super Clash just around the corner, November 24th. Make sure that you're there live. Look, from what I hear, we know that Joey Angel is going to be there, but if Chris Trance picks up the victory, I'm sure that Chris Trance is going to want to return to Perth and you know, see how far he can go within the ranks of AAW Perth, and Super Clash certainly is the event to do it. You know, we look back over the Super Clash history, and in the coming weeks, we're going to see more of those Super Clash flashbacks. But it is all about bringing in the best competitors in the world. Talking about interstate and, of course, internationally. So Chris Trance, if he really wants to make his mark on AAW, then Super Clash will be the place to do it, as Joey Angel is starting to fight back here.
Oh, no, but he's been cut off straight away.
Oh, God, look how he landed.
That's it, yeah, and that's the thing. Joey Angel, a few times in this match, looks like he's going to get back on, but Chris Trance, he's just got his eyes locked on Joey Angel, his eyes locked on the prize, and he's just, man, he's making an example out there.
That's right. And you know what? Exciting, and as exciting as this episode of AAW, the debut episode on YouTube, has been, there really is nothing like being there live, because that crowd atmosphere really is amazing. It's been fantastic here tonight, an amazing crowd. And again, Super Clash, typically one of the greatest crowd experiences that you can have. I've heard some of the loudest noises in my life come from the Super Clash crowds. Oh, and he's missed there. Well, Joey Angel starting to build momentum. No. I thought he had momentum on his side there.
Oh, and a big knee to the back. You know, that's the thing. We talked about it earlier. Joey looks like he's on his way back. Chris Trance is right there to cut him off. Joey Angel going for that vintage Joey Angel clothesline into the corner. But Chris Trance has been watching some Joey Angel tapes, it seems. Was able to duck out the way and deliver that huge knee to the kidney. And although it might not look vicious, it does a lot of damage, I can tell you that.
Absolutely. You know what? Sometimes experience comes back to bite you, because while you may be experienced in the ring, people sometimes can anticipate what you're about to do. Well, I can't really anticipate what Chris Trance is about to do here, but it looks like he's going to the very top rope, and if he hits this, it could be the end of the match.
I've never seen Trance go to the top rope, so this could be something very new, but Joey Angel sees what he was going for and cuts him off there with this. Again, it's been a huge chop fest. I haven't seen this many chops since the last Ric Flair match that I watched on DVD.
So painful. It really cannot be overestimated how...
Oh, and a huge superplex. Oh my God, that's... I hate those moves because they are just so devastating. I mean, one bad drop of that and your career could be done. I mean, just look at the pain on both these guys' face. Chris Trance, look at him. You just see in his eyes, he's in so much pain right now from that huge slam.
I mean, that could be it right here. Joe Spencer counting both men down.
It could end in a double countout right now. This could be a horrible way to finish the main event.
Well, we're going to have to see both men slowly making their way to their feet. I think Joel has stopped the count now. We're going to see an exchange. Let's see who the crowd is behind. Let's see who comes out on top.
Well, it seems the crowd really behind Joey Angel, but Chris Trance, look at those forearms. He's absolutely smashing the face of Joey Angel in. Goes for a clothesline attempt, but no! Joey Angel couldn't take him down with that one. Chris Trance on the ropes, and oh, a huge clothesline taking Chris Trance right back to the outside where he did that damage earlier.
I don't know if Trance is going to be able to come back from this. You know, he looks absolutely dazed and confused. This is where experience should come into play. Joey Angel should know exactly what to do here. Get him back in the ring where you can win the match and pin his shoulders to the mat.
That's it. You know, Joey Angel, he knows that he can't give him too much time to rest. If he was going to let him go outside, oh, and that's that. God, that's such a huge kick that he does. Bam, there it is, the double combo that Joey Angel gives. One huge kick to the kidney, goes to the back, and what is this, James? He is calling for it. This is the finisher I was talking about earlier. That devastating cutter. If he hits this, Trance can be done.
No, he's got out of it. He obviously knew what was coming. Oh, it looks like a knee buster there. I mean, looked pretty devastating to me. He seemed to get his knee right in Joey Angel's face.
Trance avoiding the RKO and oh, hitting one of his own on Joey Angel. A taste of his own medicine.
Unbelievable.
Can he put him away with his own finishing move?
2, 3.
No! Joey barely just kicking out there. That was like a 2.9 almost.
Very, very close there. And look, the arrogance of Chris Trance in his debut match. He's going up against a former world champion with all the experience, and he has the nerve to use his very own finisher.
Now, wait a minute. What's this? He's got that kendo stick there that you always see him take to the ring. This is his manager almost. His valet is that kendo stick.
Well, you know, we might see another match end in a DQ here. Joel's going to have no option if he uses this on Joey. That's obviously a foreign object.
Oh, Joey's caught it, which means there's no disqualification just yet. Oh, now Joey... Wait a minute, if Joey hits him...
Well, keep your cool here, Joey. It's not worth losing the match over.
You can tell he knows it too. He's thinking about it. He's thinking, do I do it? Do I do it and risk disqualification, or do I fight and try and win this contest fairly? He's going to go for it! He's going to go for it with Joel Spencer! Joel, he does not want this match to end this way. This is the biggest main event right now. All Action Wrestling on YouTube. Oh, and Chris Trance takes advantage, and he's going for that transplant maneuver. This could be it if he hits it, and he has.
That's it. That's it. 1, 2, 3.
It's
oh my
all over.
goodness. Chris Trance with a victory in his debut match on the debut episode of AAW right here on YouTube. Ladies and gentlemen, that is just about all we've got time for. Make sure that you tune in next week. And until then, we will see you at Super Clash November 24th. Thank you very much for tuning in. We'll see you next week.